trophy and, of course, lock yourselves in that one slot to the Pacific Showdown. Well, if Order are going to win their first championship, Jordan, they want to do it when that is on the line.
Well, that's the most heartbreaking factor, isn't it? Sydney Drop Bears 3 seasons in a row. And then the first season that they lose, if they lose here, is the most important season that we've had thus far in AU Contenders. But got to bite the bullet sometimes. It's time for Sydney Drop Bears to do just that. Whatever they spoke about in the break, they need to implement it now because it is do or die. Order going to start off with a bit of a scouting strat here, Adam. Just having a look there as the Sombra, you can see what's going on for Sydney Drop Bears. Has spotted out the Winston, knows it's standard Winston goats.
Yeah.
And Order, after seeing that, I'm sure they feel comfortable.
We see this a lot with that standard 3-3 where you swap the Reinhardt with the shield for Chrono Dota here on the Winston, which has that Tesla cannon. The Tesla cannon can hit everyone together. Quick, everyone hold your breath. No, it's okay, we're back inside. So, we're playing Assault Horizon Lunar Colony. Essentially, if you're attacking, you capture objective A, it's a control point in a similar fashion to the first objective there on King's Row. Then you attack objective B, it's identical. You just need to capture both if you have time on the clock. Go all over again. And Shoyo going to get a shield batch there. Is Shoyo going to go down? Yes, the DMAC comes through. That is very much less than ideal for the Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah, it's just the small little things that Order are doing well, and to be able to get him out of that D.Va mech means so much more damage is going to go through to the shield, and in turn so much more damage will then go on to Sydney Drop Bears. Order have a great chance here to cap up initially. Shoyo though has got the mech back, and Adam's now low and also D-mech. Here comes the Primal Rage from Chrono. Order have taken too long.
They have indeed. Chrono Dota having the opportunity and of course the time to get his ultimate up. That Primal Rage makes him a big, beefy tank that knocks everyone around. The beat is dropped though. That Primal Rage really wasn't as effective as they could have been. Order now back onto the point. They've all got shield. Sign had an ultimate as well. Winston is down. Order now back on top. Surely they capture the point.
Yeah, Sydney Drop Bears are going to have to give this one up. There's a lot of ultimates available to them, but it would be a waste with the so few amount of players that they had left alive. Order, they're just finding those little advantages, taking advantage of them, and then slowly but surely snowballing the fight. Sydney Drop Bears fall over what looks to be so easily. But in fact, Order has been working hard so far. It's the small, intrinsic little things in a GOATS matchup like this that make the difference, the ripple effect. And right now, that is favoring Order quite substantially. Grab here available for them, Earth Shatter as well, but no support ultimates on their side, and Sound Barrier available for Sydney Drop Bears. So there's a little bit to play with on both sides.
Yeah, a lot available for the Drop Bears on defense. The grab comes through. I'm not even sure where it landed, to be honest, but the Earth Shatter as well. There's Adam with the self-destruct looking for picks. Will find Chrono Dota. That's the first pick they need. Order need to follow this through with more quick picks. They're already capturing the point. 33% gone. Looking to make it 2 out of 3/3 here. Close. Shoyo D-mech as well. Heading towards 100%. They will contest. They have to contest. They've got the spawn advantage on the defender's side, and the Kraken has an ultimate to work with. He comes on out with that Transcendent Juice. Earthshatter comes out from Chrono Dota as well. Quats charges out. Hunter does go down. Slowly but surely, the Sydney Drop Bears seem to be clawing their way back into this fight, and only just in the nick of time.
Yeah, it really was coming down to the wire there for Sydney Drop Bears, but the ultimates do just come up. A Kraken's in particular, Transcendence, so imperative in keeping Sydney Drop Bears on the point, but Order, they'll feel pretty happy with that initial offensive. They picked up 2 ticks, they've got to 92%, and now the job gets so much easier from here. They only need to win 1 fight, and it's over. Already, you're starting to see Order build the ultimates back up once again. You have the 2 support ultimates for Order this time. Graviton Surge, so quickly charged up by Signed as well.
Yeah.
Definitely enough to work with, definitely enough to knock over Sydney Drop Bears here if they're getting value out of these abilities.
They need to keep their tank alive. Of course, CKM goes low, and the beat is dropped, but they don't keep quads up in time. Unfortunately, a wasted ultimate there for Order. The Drop Bears getting a perfect pick onto Quats, the main tank of the attacking side, and that will get them another fight win.
Yeah, that was quite frankly a little bit messy from Order, so back to the drawing board. It's not the end of the world, still plenty of time on the clock, but that was a really good opportunity to actually go through with a very, very strong time bank, and they kind of let that one slip. Now it's going to take a couple more fights before they're really in a great position to cap out here, because again, we see that swing favoring Sydney Drop Bears once more.
Yeah, those 4 green ticks up on the left side of the screen indicates that the Sydney Drop Bears have a lot of good abilities to work with. The question is, will they use them effectively? Can they get the most out of them? They need to rotate through them smartly to make sure they don't use them all at once. They need to fight these fights and win these fights without putting too much into it. 3 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock. Order just waiting, I think, Jordan, for them to find themselves a couple more ultimates to work with as well. So many of them so very close. The rally is used. Yuki uses his as well. Everyone with armor to work with. Nice shatter. Graviton Surge comes through as well. Chrono Dota goes down. CKM picked up. This is huge plays. What are they going to do here? I don't know if the Drop Bears can bring this back.
Was the beat cancelled?
Only need to capture this point.
And they look like they're going to be able to do it, Ben. All of the picks going the way of the White and Orton are that team. Chrono does get a shatter down, but it won't do anything. Doomfist out now for CKM, but he will not last long at all. And sooner or later, Sydney Drop Bears will fall on Horizon Lunar Colony. Decent capping time out there from Order. Definitely could have been better.
It could have.
But it is enough to be happy with, and they're all smiles across the board. Everyone's happy.
You would take it if they'd gone at the start of the day and said, you could capture Horizon Lunar Colony against the Drop Bears of 2.5 minutes on the clock. You would say, perfect, lock it in.
With that said, though, Horizon Lunar Colony has been the map that we have seen a lot of overtimes occurring during regular season. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I wouldn't be hugely surprised to see Sydney Drop Bears cap with time alive as well. But I don't want to really throw a prediction out like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of hedge my bets here a little bit. Order have looked really good on the defense there of Kings Row. So there may be a world in which they do actually hold here on first. And at that point, then we really know the nail is in the coffin.
Yeah, that would be incredible. And potential here for another hold on the first objective. If Order are able to stop and hold back the Sydney Drop Bears for 4 minutes, that's the end of the game. They won't capture any objective and will move to map number 4. Surely that is not possible. This Drop Bears lineup, they need to pull themselves together here, Jordan, and they need to do it now.
Yeah, this is such a veteran roster that it's strange to see them not being able to perform at the moment. Waiting to see whether or not they will be able to hit that peak level or if it is really going to be Order's day. Finally, they've been waiting for so long.
It's been a long time for this Order team as well, and they've been good but never close, I think. I don't think it's ever been truly close in the finals.
No, not really. And it's actually it's not looking close here either, so it's kind of gone the whole different direction. Totally turned around, but
we're
we
asking
know
for an extra 20%. We've got an extra 100% right now from Order.
Yeah, well, we know so much about what Sydney Drop Bears can do. These players have got so much pedigree and prestige.
We're going to get a mirror match right now. Quats choosing to play Reinhardt as well instead of opting for the Winston like the Sydney Drop Bears did earlier. We'll see whether it pays off for them or not. Bertlog going to get shield bash there. You saw the little stun come up, but he does not go down. Everyone here from Order needs to stay alive as long as possible. They can't allow this to be the first pick to Drop Bears. They can find a pick or two to start this off. Everyone hold your breath, we're outside on the moon. All right, we're okay, you can breathe again. Gonna try now and take the high ground. Jordation's so very low. The heals come through just in the nick of time. Quats has an Earth Shatter. He throws it through. I'm not sure if we even caught anyone.
I think it hit the wall, Ben. Unfortunately, that may well have been the one win condition that Order did have in this fight. They need to last a little bit longer. Sign now has Graham. Can he get it out? He's got no HP to play with. Everyone's so low on Order, but yet they still survive. And now they have a really good job of recontesting. That was the one opportunity for Sydney Drop Bears to smash on through, but now they're going to be made to work for point A.
They certainly will. The re-engage comes through just in the nick of time. They got up to 70%. They'll get 60% locked in. They only need 1/3 more, but they are running out of time. The beat is dropped by the Drop Bears. A Kraken with Transcendence as well. Order comes through. Nice little Earth Shatter from Chrono Dota. I don't know if it'll be enough. Jordation keeping them alive. Hunter's used his support ultimate as well. Haas has that Graviton Surge available. He's also managed to find 2 kills. Self-destruct from Shoyo. Surely that finds another. There we go. The Sydney Drop Bears now back on top.
Yeah, a bit of a double support ultimate coming out there from Order. Does cost them a little bit of that quote-unquote invulnerability time. And Sydney Drop Bears take advantage of that with the Graviton Surge coming down once both the support ults had faded for Order. They posted a very good time on point A, but B is the one where things do tend to get hung up a little bit more so than anything else. That said, Order don't have much to work with outside of Sion having built a grab again. I mean, who can be surprised at this point? He is again going to be such a key player here for Order on this part in this first defense. He doesn't get a good grab. The Drop Bears may well run away with a very strong time bank and start to make their way back into this series.
Well, that's precisely what they need to do. 5 minutes, 15 remaining on the clock. They're already now engaging, looking for that first vital pick right now. Sign lurking as well. You can see there with that tick available, the Graviton Surge throws it out, captures a number of players. Can Order follow up with damage? They need to pick them up. Won't be the case. Earthshatter comes through from Chrono and Quads, but Hunter's the first one down. Going down to a Kraken. Great start on this fight from the Drop Bears. They need to find another, though. It's taking a very long time. The respawns will start coming through. Hunter will get now back into the fight. The Sydney Drop Bears, as they are attacking, have a much longer walk back to this particular point on the map. Quats is down. Adam about to be demeched as well. And now the Drop Bears are starting to do what they need to do.
Graviton Surge may well be exactly what Sydney Drop Bears needed to push it on through, but now we're going to start to see the stall tactics come into effect for Order. Quats on the Wrecking Ball, Yuki's here for Batiste, and Sign almost has another grab. They might still be able to turn this one around, Ben.
They're contesting, they're doing what they can. You can see Quats kept alive for a moment, but Hunter's gone down. Still 5 up here for Order. Self-destruct coming through from Shoyo. Can it clear the point? They're not going to get back on. Yes, they will. It's grab. That's a big grab, but can they follow it up with damage? The answer doesn't appear to be yes. The Sydney Drop Bears staying strong. They found 2. They find the objective, round 2 complete. And the Sydney Drop Bears come through the first round here on Horizon Lunar Colony with more time in the bank than their opponents.
Yeah, like I said, you can never really take Horizon Lunar Colony at face value. 2.5 minutes looks like a great time, but in reality, it is one that does finish off quite a lot more so than other maps, particularly other assault maps. We are at 2 apiece. Now there's a real inroad for Sydney Drop Bears. That 0-2 scoreline, something that I don't know that everyone would have expected to see at this point in the day, and certainly not Sydney Drop Bears. Now they have to turn it around. You know, you go down 0-3, that feels like the series is already over. A reverse sweep, sure it can happen, but it's so unrealistic.
It is tough to fathom, isn't it? Though, I can't help but feel that at some points in the past, Order has managed to find momentum in the finals, at least for a moment, at which point the Sydney Drop Bears clutch it back.
The difference is, it's been only for like a map or half a map or something like this. This for Order has been 2 maps in a row where they've looked really good. They've contested again here on Horizon Lunar Colony. I don't think this is the same as what we've been seeing in the past. You know, this is not fleeting moments of form for Order. This is their true form right now.
All right, because the Drop Bears did it quicker than their opponents, Order will have to attack first. The Drop Bears once again on defense. Chrono Donor going to be coming out once more on this Winston. Last time it went okay, but not as well as it could have. Certainly needs to make effective use of this Winston tank right now. The Drop Bear's going to come out and engage, and they find Yuki to start things off. Chrono Dota already up to 55% here, Jordan. That's exactly what he needs to do.
Well, where do you go from here as Order? Because it's not a nice place to be caught outside.
No.
With a player down as well, they're kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place, but they will reset. That's very smart. See Yuki rejoin them. It doesn't actually cost Order too much time, but a minute 50 left on the clock. It's definitely holdable here for Sydney Drop Bears, particularly with a good start like that. Chrono now has a lot of that percentage in the ways toward the Primal Rage. And if he can get it off at a good time now...
Here we go. This could be devastating for Order. Chrono Dota with the Primal Rage coming through, but the damage seems to be going back onto the Drop Bears at least for now. Liquidation also sitting on this Transcendence that is available. This could be key, this could be crucial for getting this a first objective in their favor. There's the first tick. We need 3. They're halfway through before they get stopped. The Sydney Drop Bears re-engages. Chrono Dota will go down. Transcendence used by Jordation as well. And Jordan, feels like to me it's only a matter of time before Order find this point.
You say that, but there are still avenues in which Sydney Drop Bears can turn this one around. Shoyo going down, however, probably seals the deal, and was waiting to see whether or not this Graviton Surge for Husk would come up in time, and it looks like it won't. Order cap out point A. So,
oh, look at these ultimates here.
Yeah, now it's defendable for Order, but they want more. They head into Objective B. You're right, the ultimates for Order, very, very favorable. Lots to work with, only lacking Transcendence for Jordation, but if he sits on the high ground, pumps some damage out into Sydney Drop Bears, that Transcendence is going to come up in no time at all.
1 minute remains. They got an extra 30 seconds the second time around here for capturing the first objective. Essentially one fight remains, one good fight required from Order to capture this point. To be fair, they probably do need to capture this to give themselves a good shot at winning this map. They're on to the point. The first tick goes their way. The Sydney Drop Bears holding as long as possible. Chrono Dota in a bad spot right now. Earthshatter comes out from Quads, but it's Quads who goes down first. The beat is dropped too little, too late once again, unfortunately for Unta. A Kraken come through with a Transcendence. 25 seconds on a clock.
They have to
Order
reset.
have already lost 2.
Oh.
They're not resetting. They're using their ultimate. Jordation uses his support ultimate, and now Order has nothing remaining. They get to 78.2%, Jordan.
That's really messy from Order. You could see there was 2 halves of the Order roster sign, and Adam, they didn't want to commit to that fight. Jordation and Unta did, and unfortunately that's really put them in an awful position here. Sign still has the grab. Maybe there's still a chance. They've got those 2 ticks, but they may not be able to cap from here on out. I don't even know if they can secure the overtime. They do just, but they're not going to be able to cap this one out, Ben. That definitely could have been better from Order.
Yeah.
They needed to be on one page, and they weren't.
First, the tank goes down before the first support ultimate is dropped. And then the second support ultimate is used, I guess, when maybe it didn't need to be. The optional, I guess, the only opportunity to win there, one would suspect, is to fall back and try once more if they get back in the nick of time. Nevertheless, considering what they started with, 2.5 minutes, another 30 seconds for capturing the first objective, they almost managed to do it all over again, about 78% on Objective B. That is very much a defendable position.
It is. But Sydney Drop Bears do have a little bit more time to play with than what Order had for themselves. So, raises some concerns here for Order, but as I said, they've been fairly solid on the defense so far today. We may well get to one fight territory once again here on Horizon Lunar Colony, similar to Oasis. It's going to be the 3-3 mirror GOATS matchup again, and traditionally that has favored Order. Anything is possible here for them, but to go up 3-0, that's exactly what they want. Sydney Drop Bears. It feels like their series is hanging on the precipice here. If they get Horizon Lunar Colony, they're still in it. If they drop it here, Order runs away with the series.
It would be very difficult to reverse sweep from 3-0 down, requiring 4 map wins in a row. Almost inconceivable at that point, but I guess something that is still on the cards. But right now, to be fair, the Drop Bears have the advantage. They have more time there than their opponents did in this exact same position. The question is, can they make the most of it? Quads, the first one down. No, I lied. A Kraken and CKM found out first. At least they've got the main tank, but it looks to me like maybe the Drop Bears will fall short.
Yeah, Jordation's in such a comfortable position here. Finally, only now being harassed by Bertlog, and he will fall. That's a little interesting because he's going to have a long run back. I wonder, where is Unta? Is he going back for the taxi? It does look like it. So Order should have their full crew here, especially with the stagger that they got onto Shoyo before Sydney Drop Bears can really mount a good offense once again on point A. Ultimate's charged up
On the clock. A number of fights remain here with the Sydney Drop Bears, but it's going to be that second point that's the tricky one. They manage to make their way through. They need a good engage, but they don't have the ultimates to work with. A Kraken, the first one down. Self-destruct used by Adam. Chrono Dota very low as well. He's found out. The Earthshatter comes through. I'm not even sure if it was needed at that point, but I think perhaps was already in the process of being used. Hunter, the only one here for Order to be picked up, and of course, he can taxi himself nice and fast back to the point there.
Yeah, I don't think that the shadow was entirely necessary, as you say, Ben. End of the day, though, it is another fight one for Order. It's some more time wasted of Sydney Drop Bears, and that is really the objective for Order at this point. So even if they are over-investing into these fights a little bit, it can be forgiven. They still have a lot of ults to work with. The economy hasn't been thrown into disarray by using that Earthshatter. I'm prepared to give that one a pass mark, particularly if Order can win this next fight. Grab gets eaten by Shoyo.
Intercepts the Graviton Surge from Sign. I think that's the first time Sign has missed one all game long, but a Kraken goes down anyway. Order going to recontest. They're not content to let the Drop Bears capture even 1/3 of the point. Bertlog with the sound barrier, shields for the remainder of the team, but it doesn't matter. Chrono Dodo, the main tank for the Drop Bears, is targeted and eliminated here. Now 1:30 on the clock. You can see Order is starting to come back up on their ultimates as well. It really felt to me like that was the fight the Drop Bears needed to win.
Well, you say that, but they do actually come into this next one with a little bit in the back pocket as well, so it's not all do or die just yet. Having said that, Order, they've looked so solid on this defense thus far that you're starting to get the sense that we may well be headed toward a 3-0. Adam engages the fight with a self-destruct.
Perfect. Great work there from Adam and, Signed and Quats. Along with Adam, they find a number, only Unter goes down.
This is so good from Order. They're doing exactly what they need to. They know that Sydney Drop Bears has the advantage in these fights, or at least coming into them on paper, but they're not giving them the opportunity to set up. They're not giving them the opportunity to use these ults. We've seen 2 fights in a row now where a Kraken has had Transcendence, hasn't been able to use it. The same for the Shatter, the same for the Self-Destruct. Bertlog gets the sound barrier down in this fight, but it doesn't make a difference. Order are doing so well, shutting Sydney Drop Bears down.
30 seconds on the clock. The Sydney Drop Bears need to win this fight. We go outside. This is too tense to hold your breath, Jordan. For the first time ever, we're going to talk about what's going on. 20 seconds now. The time continues to tick down. The Drop Bears up onto the high ground. They need to make this work. They have everything they need.
That's a
nice shatter. Can they follow it up? It doesn't hit Jordan. He has a Transcendence. The beat is dropped by Unter. Shoyu with the self-destruct finds one. A Kraken keeping the Drop Bears alive. Chrono Dodo targeted, but no damage goes down. Order is low. The Drop Bears going to get onto the point. We're into overtime. They find 2. Adam finds 1 back, but Bertlog secures the 3rd here for the attacking team. They need to get the point, and they only have 30 seconds to get more than 78.2%.
And the difference in this fight, Ben, is finally Order don't have a playmaking ultimate. They don't have a self-destruct. They don't have a grab. They don't have a shatter there to initiate onto Sydney Drop Bears. So they only can play reactively with the support ultimates. And this time, Sydney Drop Bears get to use what they had available, but it costs them everything, Ben. They're like Thanos. They have to go into this final fight with nothing left.
No spoilerinos, Elfishguy. Order only need to defend for 10 more seconds. The Drop Bears will make sure they get onto this point. The charge
no,
They're on the high ground, and Hunter's already gone down. That's a big play as well. They get onto the point. The beat is dropped. Adam going to get almost demech, but drops the self-destruct instead. He's going to try and get back in. Quats, he's going to throw out an Earth Shatter as well. The Sydney Drop Bears might fall short. Order's going to make it 3-0 as they pick up Horizon Lunar Colony.
Well, there you go, Order marching toward victory. It doesn't seem like Sydney Drop Bears are going to be stopping them today. 1 more map to go until they finally find that victory, that elusive victory that they've been searching for 3 seasons, now into their 4th, and this is their best chance yet. They've got more maps on the board against Sydney Drop Bears than they have in the entire history of this matchup, and they are looking phenomenal right now. Everything is working for Order, and they just have to reach up and take that one last grasp.
AVRL, we spoke earlier about how this Order lineup were reading the Drop Bears perfectly. We saw it on King's Row when they were avoiding that Sombra Goats. They initiated early. They got the picks they needed. They did the same thing here on Horizon Lunar Colony, and it paid off.
And I think you're seeing now the difficulty the Sydney Drop Bears have gotten themselves in, where you can't play Sombra Goats. Anything else you like to play might not work either. You're pretty much forced into the mirror, and still it's not quite enough. It is almost there, but Order are just that much better right now.
Pixie, we went through the first half of this, and to be fair, the Sydney Drop Bears were on top. They had another 2 minutes in the bank. That's a ton of time to work with, but they were not able to make the most of that.
I mean, this is the most winnable position they've found themselves in so far, right? And I mean, this is where we start to ask of them the questions that we've asked of Order in the past of, you know, if not now, then when? If that's not good enough, then what will be? Well, if they can't actually win in that situation, if they can't actually still get that cap when it could result in a map win, start turning things around, then will they be able to at all? Order do such a good job of disrupting the rotations time and time again. It's a lot of what makes the defense so iron tight.
I can't help but feel that now the Sydney Drop Bears have again been able to pick more maps than they've been able to pick in the whole history of Contenders. You only get to pick a map when you lose. They so rarely lose, and now they've lost on their map choice 3 times in the row, Jordan.
Yeah, well, it's actually familiar territory for Sydney Drop Bears, unfortunately, this season, if we go back and look at how the result that they had against Blank went. So, you know, this is the season where Sydney Drop Bears have looked mortal, and finally they're looking mortal at a LAN final as well. We had our reservations about last season,
Yes.
sure,
Yep.
but that was not the case when we got to the season finals. Definitely a different case now.
And that was always the caveat, wasn't it, Avril? Well, on land, the Drop Bears are different. On land, they're the best. On land, they have the most experience. And, well, today it has not gone that way for them.
And that's because this land so far, look, Sydney Drop Bears, they struggled versus the Mavericks. You look at order, they absolutely smashed Blank. And now they're up in this stage, looking like they'll probably smash the Drop Bears as well. I'll tell you something, Ben, dynasties rise and fall. And I think this one's about to fall spectacularly. Order have been hungry for some time, and they're ready to eat.
Pixie, if there was a time for the Sydney Drop Bears to get back into this game, it would have been at that 2-map break where we took 5-10 minutes, settled down. The coach has a chance to say, hey, don't worry about this. We're going on to our map choice again. Right now, however, that hasn't worked, and I can't help but feel that it might be too little too late. If you're the Drop Bears, if you're the coach, what do you say right now to turn this around?
I mean, Escort can bring a bit of a change in the wins even still, and I think that's what they need to be leaning on now. And the part of why I say that, you've got map options in there where you do have a number of compositional options that are well away from anything else we've seen so far this series, all the things that have not been working for the Sydney Drop Bears. You also need to tell your team to just keep your cool, right? Order right now, they are 1 win away from effectively going to Shanghai. It's not just this on the line. Sydney Drop Bears, they don't need to be the ones thinking about that. Let that be on Order's minds. Let it distract them even, the tantalizing victory. If Drop Bears just treat this as ground zero, we're starting from the top and it's a best of 1, maybe they've got some headway ahead of them.
Well, in that case, they've got 4 best of 1s to work through. And right now, this one's going to be an Escort map type. Let's take a look. Watch Point, Gibraltar, Jordan. What do you think about this map?
Well, you got to be feeling really, really scared right now as Sydney Drop Bears, don't you? Because every single map that they've turned to hasn't gone their way. Again, I'll say the same thing I said on Horizon Lunar Colony. There is still things in the wheelhouse that both of these teams can fall back onto, but it just seems like they want to continue with that 3-3 matchup.
Yes.
If we get that again, I'm saying it's Order. It's going to be 4-0.
What do we think? Is there any opportunity here, Avril, for different team comps to come out here on the Escort map type?
I think this is something that the Drop Bears can fall back on, knowing they beat Melbourne Mavericks here. They were able to best them. And the thing is, when you come to Watch Point Gibraltar, I'm actually not sure you even want to go to those other compositions at this point. You need to go back to the GOATs. Maybe you can still win the 3-3. It's been close enough. If Drop Bears can just step up one more level, they can probably do this.
Here we go. Watch Point Gibraltar, our 4th and final map type here this weekend. The question for the Drop Bears is, can they bring it back? They need to win 4 maps in a row. Order, they are on match point. If they take this one down, if they take this map away from the Drop Bears, they are our Season 1 champions. They destroy the dynasty. They win the money, and Jordan, they go to Shanghai as our representatives.
It's so tantalizingly close for Order right now, isn't it? You can almost taste it. But there is still one more map ahead of them, and potentially more than that. Sydney Drop Bears, we know that the level that they can hit, it is possible. We're going to see an adaptation out from them. This is what I thought may be the case. I mentioned it in that little bit brief map selection screen. The double sniper setup, well, I guess in this case, is Huss really a sniper? For all intents and purposes,
yeah.
Yes, Ash is going to take that role. You sometimes would see the Hanzo, but Widowmaker and Ash, CKM and Huss are going to be able to more or less fulfill that same kind of a role. I know it's obviously onto Jordation here, trying to take a peek,
looking
with
for
a Widowmaker of his own.
Sure.
Won't find anything. But how does Order dance around now? Something that they have not yet seen in this matchup thus far.
Quant's going to jump up high, going to try and take on these snipers. Huss here on the Ash, one of the newer heroes in the hero pool, and one, to be fair, that has been quite effective so far this season. A little bit of free damage there as well, a little bit of free payload movement, but as you always say, we expect to see that. Huss forced off the high ground there by Quats. Adam takes damage. The Mercy here on Bertlog
Yeah.
going to be doing a ton of work. Of course, that resurrection available if someone on your team goes down. Every once in a while, you can bring them back to life on the spot.
Yeah, that forward high ground is the easier one to take control of for Order, but it's going to be this back high ground right now where CKM and Huss are set up that's going to be the real problem for them. Dive is not easy. Adam, he gets picked out of the mech straight away.
Yeah, Haas, Joyo both finding picks. This is what the Drop Bears need to kick this one off. Order going to have to fall back.
So do we see a change up now from Order? Are they going to persist with this standard 3-3 composition? Obviously going to be difficult for them to actually dive on top of the two snipers with only the Winston, only the Diva being able to follow that up. Traditionally, you would go back, you'd look at things like Genji, Tracer, Sombra, etc. in seasons of old to round out that dive composition. But it looks like Order for now feel as though they're going to be able to get it done with what they've got right now.
Yeah, the Drop Bears going to be feeling a little bit better about this, at least for now. You can see Haas already with Bob available. Potential to throw him out to contest the payload if required. The only ultimate available for Order, however, is Jordation's Transcendence. And Order taking their time, trying to build up a little bit more ultimate charge. They know they probably can't win this next fight if things start right now. He's going to jump on in. I'm not sure about that one. Sign going to get caught out. A bit of a positioning error, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. He was totally isolated. The rest of Order on the other side of the high ground. And, well, Adam does get Burlock. That might as well be a 2-for-1. No res available now for Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah.
If Order gets the next pick, they may well finally find a way to push through point A.
Quats has used the Primal Rage. He's low. Adam used the Self-Destruct, and he goes down to Chrono Dota, who used a Primal Rage of his own. Chrono Dota gets Shield Badge. Does not go down just yet. You can see two ultimates still available here for the Sydney Drop Bears as well, as Order uses their last one. The next one coming up will be Signed and Ante here with a Kraken going down. Yuki making the most of it as well. You hear that res coming through from Bertlog. He picks up the other support player in a Kraken, but they are not in a very good position, and the payload will almost make its way through. They managed to get on top of it just in the nick of time. There we go. Order managed to get through the first checkpoint.
Yeah, it took a little bit longer for Order than they might have liked, but they do get it done with a reasonable amount of time left in the bank.
Yep.
And what's best as well is that they don't really have to change the composition up all that much. Sign did swap off, but he's back on Desire. We've still got a fairly healthy ult economy for Order here heading into Phase B, and that's not really the case for Sydney Drop Bears, as both their DPS players do turn back onto the standard Goat's Mirror.
Yeah, they have to swap off here. You won't be able to use those same heroes in this part of the map. And Quats has his Primal Rage available.
And he's too
Finds
good.
3. That's huge value right there. Potential for a Macca's play in the game, that's for sure. He's going to allow them to get so very far in this second phase here of Watchpoint Gibraltar with very little invested.
Yeah, I feel like now once that point A has been capped by Order, they're back onto their comfort matchup. They're starting to feel more confident. Sydney Drop Bears perhaps a little deflated. What can they do here into point B? Chrono almost with the Primal Rage.
There we go, the beat is dropped by Order. They push on through. Chrono Dota going to get Shield Bash, stays alive. Nice little heals from the rest of the team. Quats in the same position, but he won't go down either. Adam's thrown out the Self-Destruct, doesn't find picks. Chrono Dota in the thick of things there with the Primal Rage. Going to need to be very, very careful, but it's actually Quats who goes down first. Jordation popped the Transcendence again, just a little bit too late for them. A Kraken with a Trance of his own. They're trying to hold the payload. It's very close to that second checkpoint, and Chrono Dota finds 3. Perfect work coming out from the main tank here for the Drop Bears.
Yeah, I tell you what, Quats is not going to be pleased with the supports after this game. We've seen a few times where he's gone down to a half-second late support ultimate coming out from Order. I guess at the end of the day, all is forgiven when they, or if they, still at this point win this series. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves just yet, but that is something that Order have been letting slip a little bit. And it's another chance here for Sydney Drop Bears. 1 minute and 30 on the clock. Order, this has been their most precarious offensive side we've seen thus far. It's looking like they may not even finish off here on Watchpoint Gibraltar.
The shield, the barrier comes out onto the Winston here for Order. They dive on out. Sign getting a lot of free charge, though, to be fair, not as much probably as he would like. Grab comes through from Huss. Sign counters with his own, but it's under who goes down first. Quants uses the Primal Rage. He's taken out by a Kraken. Now only 1 minute remains. The Sydney Drop Bears holding strong on the second phase of Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Much better execution out from Sydney Drop Bears. This time Adam Well, this is not a fun spot to be in
No.
as a D.Va player. He wants to charge it up, but he's so low on HP. If he does go down, then that's a massive stagger that Order has to deal with, but the mech is back now. I wonder if Order's starting to get a little bit scared. Have they awoken the beast? Have they awoken the Drop Bears? Here on Watch Point
just
Gibraltar.
giving us a good match, Jordan. They're like,
Maybe.
we'll let them get 3, then we'll destroy them 4 in a row. Not particularly likely, to be perfectly honest. And Husk's going to go down there to Adam. That's a big pick. Chrono Dota tries to counter with the Primal Rage. He's into the backline. CKM finds his counterpart with Yuki going down. Transcendence used by a Kraken. Jordation not using his, but Hunter's dropped the beat in the meantime. Adam with the self-destruct, 10 seconds on the clock. They need to push the payload forward. They're down a hero as well. So this is going to be difficult. Science swaps across to the Tracer. The Drop Bears in prime position. They are turning this match around, and they're looking to do it here on Watch Point.
Yeah, they're going to be able to hold strong here in Phase B. There's no chance now for Order. It's just to stagger onto the point to try and keep that overtime ticking, but we all know how this movie ends. Sydney Drop Bears will hold strong. And finally, some success for the reigning champs. They have really been battered about by Order for 3 maps in a row, but it turns the tables fairly quickly back in the favor of Sydney Drop Bears here.
Yeah.
If they win on Watch Point Gibraltar, and they have a fantastic chance of doing just that. I think point A, though, is going to be the real difficulty for them. What is Order going to default back to? Is it going to be, again, the 3-3, or are we going to see the double sniper set up from them? We know it's possible for this Order roster to play that.
A very good question. They got about halfway through. There was still quite a lot of the map remaining, and to be fair, 80.16 meters in Phase B here at Watch Point Gibraltar is not a particularly great score. So very nice work there from the Sydney Drop Bears, putting themselves in probably the best position we have seen for them so far. They only need to get the payload 81 meters or thereabouts, and then they will win this map. And all of a sudden, is that enough to swing momentum in their favor? The flip side here, Jordan, is that, yeah, you can defend with double sniper, but what are you going to do on attack?
What are you going to do on the second point if you don't manage to make point A work on that defense with double sniper? In this case, Order, I mean, I'm not really surprised actually to see them go back to a standard or a more standard GOATS composition. It has been their philosophy throughout this entire season. Again, I'll go back to the tweets that RQT put out a while ago saying all the other compositions were cheesy. GOATS is all you need to play and you can win with that. And it certainly seems like that is the case here today against Sydney Drop Bears. But Watch Point Gibraltar is the map that's sort of hanging in the balance more so than any other has. We're at about a 50-50% here as to who's going to finish this one off. If it's Order, obviously we know they go through as the victors. They go to Shanghai and they finally upset that dynasty. But Sydney Drop Bears, they're still hanging on.
Quants takes early damage, drops back. Going to try and contest the high ground right now, but the Drop Bears getting a bit of a free run for now, as to be expected. Unto the first one down. Adam not in a great position either. The Sydney Drop Bears doing precisely what they need to here. Very nice work from them, a convincing first fight win as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually going to make it quite difficult to get a second fight on point A because Sydney Drop Bears can push forward. They can take that positioning early on. By the time they even get there, they're going to probably actually give it up. I don't think they would have got there in time. The Order do end up letting it go by.
5.5 minutes to go, 81 meters. Very difficult now for Order to hold from here. Quats comes through, finds Bertlog, but, well, Husk counters straight back. Quats forced to use the Primal Rage. Chrono Dota going to sit on his until it's required. He then uses it as well. Straight in there, trying to find a pick. The payload's gone a little bit, still a fair way to go, but so much time right now the Drop Bears to work with.
That's a good forward hold for Order. They really need to be taking forward fights like this because there's actually so little positioning for them to properly defend. Normally the really good defense actually comes at the next point, but Order don't have that much time to play with. And the Sydney Drop Bears certainly do, so Order needs to take every possible fight they can to try and steal away seconds from Sydney Drop Bears.
And this is going to be a difficult fight. If the Drop Bears engage early, Order may not have their ultimates available. A Kraken with an aggressive Transcendence will allow the Drop Bears to get into the fight. Husk with the grab, the zoning Graviton Surge. I'm not sure about that one. Jordation uses his. The beat comes out as well. Self-destruct.
Wow.
Finds two. Show-yo. There we go from downtown. And and that's exactly what the Drop Bears need to keep doing. This
right.
payload is getting ever closer.
There's going to be one more fight on the line here for Order. If they don't win this one, Sydney Drop Bears will take the map. Looking at what Sydney Drop Bears have on their ultimates, though, really not a whole lot there. Order should win this fight, and then we're in for interesting times.
The beat comes out from Hunter, the grab comes through, Adam with the self-destruct, husts the first one down to Jordation. Chrono Dota already has the primal range and will choose to use it. The fight, however, will not go the Drop Bears' way. The payload ever close, 7 meters short, and 3.5 minutes to do it.
It's a pretty clean win for Order, really. I mean, Sydney Drop Bears didn't have a whole lot to challenge them with there. As soon as you see the grab go down from Sign, finishing off Huss, you know, a lot of the damage does disappear for Sydney Drop Bears, and right now Order are doing a great job of wasting Shoyo's time. Good stagger. As I said, every second counts here for Order. Still not that much pressure on Sydney Drop Bears. They've got 3.5 minutes left to play with, but as that timer starts to tick down, once we get to 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes, Sydney Drop Bears in that one fight territory, that's where Order starts to get the advantage once again.
Yeah. 3 minutes is an eternity for Order to defend this. It is almost inconceivable that they will be able to do it, but the power is in their hands right now. It's up to them, and with Adam finding a Kraken straight away, just 1% short of that Transcendence. That's exactly what Order needs to keep doing. The Drop Bear's going to choose to fall back. Jordation once again will stagger Chrono Dota. That's more time out of the time bank.
Exactly what I was talking about now. Down below 3 minutes, and before the next fight occurs, Sydney Drop Bears will be well below 2.5, maybe even toward the 2 minute mark. So we're looking at 2 or 3 fights left for Sydney Drop Bears. Pressure starting to mount on them now. Is this where the dynasty dies?
Surely not like this, Elfishguy. Surely not a 4-0 to Order with the payload only halfway through Watchpoint Travolta. Transcendence will come through from a Kraken as well. Quats with the primal rage into the thick of things. He's spinning around. He's stuck in the grab. You can see Shoyo just trying to do the sneaky backdoor, get that payload moving whilst no one was on it. Order, we're having absolutely nothing of it. Chrono Dota has his primal rage. Will use it, but as he does, CKM does go down. Bertlog has the beat, throws that out. Now the Drop Bears have an advantage once again. The payload does not need to go far. Until with a beat of his own. You'll see Sign, if he gets back into this fight, will have that Graviton Surge to use. They need to keep the rest of the team alive.
90% for Transcendence. If Order survive until that comes up, they may well win this fight. Sign should be back. Grab is there. Trans is there. Now is Order's chance to knock Sydney Drop Bears back another peg, and they're going to do just that. 1 minute and 25 seconds left for Sydney Drop Bears, but where has that come from? Shoyo, Huss, they're finding the picks. They might just do it.
Huge, absolutely huge plays there coming out from the Sydney Drop Bears. They come through just in the nick of time as it looked like Order was going to secure yet another fight win. The Sydney Drop Bears finally find themselves back on top here as part of IEM Sydney. Well, the crowd is happy to hear that as well. Some of them probably Drop Bear supporters. Some of them want to see this go even longer than it's gone right now. And for me, I'm a big fan of both, to be perfectly honest. Pixie, talk us through that match.
I think if you weren't awake before, then you certainly should be now. This is Drop Bears really having signs of life. I've got to break it down, though. Order's defense is still immense, right? To the point where that wouldn't have been a Drop Bears win if it weren't for the fact that Drop Bears themselves pulled out an exceptional defense, and a lot of the time that they were able to burn off the clock for Order was on A with a slightly different team comp, not totally outlandish. And then back on the Goat's Mirror, they were able to pull out that extra bit of defense they needed to fully stop up Order, which is a good sign. It says that the potential is still there in both the Mirror and an asymmetrical matchup. This is what Drop Bears need to cling to now, moving forward as they try to accomplish a reverse sweep.
AVRL, what were your thoughts of the double sniper coming out from the Drop Bears on point A defense? It certainly seemed to work for them.
And that's exactly what we saw versus the Melbourne Mavericks as well. Certainly worked maybe slightly better or maybe slightly worse in that context, because also Melbourne Mavericks brought out a Genji. We didn't see that from Order.
Yeah.
They stuck to their core, stuck to Old Faithful, which is that 3-3 Goats. They eventually broke past A, but because so much time was taken off the clock, that's why B was so good for the Drop Bears. That's why they were able to complete the hold there. There certainly was not enough time for Order to get across the line, and then once that happened, you have an Order squad that unfortunately is not able to hold in the same place because the Drop Bears have far more time going to be.
The reality there, Jordan, is if you're using a traditional 3-3 team comp against your opponents on defense, it's probably unlikely that you're going to be able to hold to that point, because eventually they're going to push through. The point where you would normally choose to hold or get the opportunity is it gets obviously easier and easier to defend as you get towards the end of the map. We were only halfway through the map right then. But would have you liked to have seen Order come through with something different on attack when the 3-3 wasn't working for them?
No, not really. I mean, I don't think it's fair to say necessarily that 3-3 wasn't working for them, because they were slowly but surely sort of making inroads, but it was just such the fact that they didn't really have that much time to play with on point B. I don't think that there's any reason right now for Order to be swapping off their compositions sort of, you know, after losing 1 or 2 fights or anything like that. They've shown that consistency throughout this match so far that they're able to get it done. You know, obviously if we get towards the late stages of this, we get into sort of 5 or 6 maps or 7 maps, you know, that kind of thing. And that's when we start to see Order really struggling. Then I could make an argument, I think, for swapping off. But right now, I'm still pretty confident in Order with their 3-3 matchup, so I'm going to say stick with it.
All right, Pixie, after all of that, now Order finally get to choose themselves a map here. They finally get to play on a map of their choice. Considering they've beaten the Drop Bears on 3 out of 4 of the Drop Bears map choices, are we thinking that this potentially could go the way of Order now?
Yeah, I would actually still say that. I mean, the groundwork has been done. I wouldn't be surprised if we go to something like a Nepal here as well, where they can just kind of stick on that 3-3 mirror. As much as I say it's a good sign that the Drop Bears were able to play the mirror and overcome Order enough to get a map, that's still not a surefire thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was still exceptionally hard for them to get through that Order defense. If they needed to get any further, might not have happened. The mirror is still not comfortable for Drop Bears in the same way that it is for Order, and for that reason, I do think we're likely to see Nepal.
All right, well, the 5th map now has been selected. Let's throw that one up on the screen. We'll find what we're playing. Nepal, Pixie, with a big knowledge base there, a big brain full of Overwatch stats and statistics, whatnot. AVRL, what are you thinking about this map? You're the real man here with the knowledge.
This is the part where you look at Watchpoint Gibraltar, and one of the biggest winning pieces, we talked about the double snipers, that was a good time waster, but where Drop Bears won was they were able to level up the Scoats versus Goats 3-3 mirror matchup gameplay, specifically when both teams are on B. That's where you really saw the Drop Bears step up. So going on to Nepal doesn't really favor either team too much, but both teams are very likely to go back to the 3-3 mirror. What we have now learned is once we go there, it's no longer just Order dominance. It's going to be Drop Bears really taking it up to them.
Jordan, what are your thoughts heading into this one? Is this going to be the time where Order comes out on top?
I would suspect so still. I've still got that faith in Order. I mean, it's not particularly surprising to see them picking Nepal again, given that's what they wanted to start the series off against Blank as well. So obviously a comfort choice for them here. The major problem, I think, for Order is going to be if they end up losing Nepal here. That's 2 maps in a row for sitting Drop Bears, momentum starting to go there, and then that element of doubt creeps into the mind for Order. So I think they have to get it done here, Ben. Otherwise, we're in for a really long series.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is map number 5. It's our first to 4. Order right now, 3-1 up against the reigning champions, the back-to-back-to-back champions, the Sydney Drop Bears. Can their dynasty be stopped in their tracks here today at Kudos Bank Arena? Our winners go to the Pacific Showdown to represent Australia. Right now, Order are so very close, Jordan. It's within their grasp.
It was within their grasp on Gibraltar as well, Ben, and they didn't get it done there. So maybe there is still a story yet untold for us here in this grand final. Sydney Drop Bears will take some momentum through from Gibraltar. Maybe they can get it done here on Nepal. The first fight starting to break out. Neither team really getting much of an advantage, though Order does have the positioning on the point. They'll back away, heal on up. Adam on the flank here, trying to get some chip damage on the side. This is nice to see.
Yeah, looking for the nice little off angle. Will they be able to make the most of it? However, Adam also the one to take the first lot of big damage. Yuki also low. Order is on the point, looking to capture, and it's almost a free capture here for Order. Quats is quite low, but again, the Drop Bears not able to make the most of that, not able to take him down in the end. They follow through. Order continues to take more damage, and Haas has the grab. Oh my goodness, Adam somehow manages to stop that. How does he even know that it was ready?
Signed had his ready as well, and he gets his across most assuredly, as we have seen throughout this series thus far. Still, the cap persists in the favor of Order. Self-destruct now down from Adam. We see both the support ults out from Order as well, and maybe there is an inroad there for Sydney Drop Bears now, because they hang on to their sound barrier.
They do indeed. Bertlog drops the beat. So many shields here for the Drop Bears. They can engage a little bit safer. Quats now goes down. No main tank available.
Signed
for
almost
Order.
has grab again.
Self-destruct also from Shoyo. Adam takes him out. A Kraken finds Under, but the Drop Bears will find themselves the payload. Sorry, the objective.
Yeah, just a little bit of an overinvestment there, I think, from Jordation and Unter, both going at the same time. It's not the end of the world just yet. Signed and Husk just charging these Graviton surges up so damn quickly. Obviously, Shoyu and Adam would be very difficult for them to keep up. So we're not going to be seeing the Grav Bomb combos as much right now. Order have reset themselves and start to make their way in through from the high ground. Sydney Drop Bears will give that one up fairly quickly, but the fight on the point is what we really need to look toward.
Yeah, Sign lurking with his grab. It's available, but Huss the first one to throw out his, and it's Quats who's captured out. The charge comes through, and Quats will go down. Chrono Dota follows up with essentially what is a free Earth Shatter and a free fight win for the Drop Bears.
Yeah, I think you can fairly happily give that one up as Order. You knew that there was no support ultimate to really deal with that grab, so unless Sign got his down early and Order won the fight off the back of that, even through the Transcendence of a Kraken, there wasn't really much chance for Order as soon as Sydney Drop Bears engaged the fight. But now is where Order really come back with a vengeance. They've built all the ultimates up. It's a 6 ult fight for Order. If they don't win it here, they're not going to be able to flip it back across, at least on the first round of Nepal.
Now up to 72%, quite a lot. The percentage point bank here for the Sydney Drop Bears. The engage comes through. Sign throws out a grab and a self-destruct, but a Kraken's got a Transcendent. Order all very low, quite unhealthy, but it's Shoyo who's demeched first by Adam. Order now on the point. They are contesting, but the ticks keep going in favor of the Drop Bears. Shoyo going to get back into the mech as well. That's nice work. Quats and Yuki though find the picks. Jordation with that Transcendence, 98, 99%. We are now into overtime, and when Bertlog goes down, Order will swing it back in their favor.
This time, Unter gets the timing right on that sound barrier. Quats survives on through. Jordation maybe didn't need the Transcendence there. It looked like the fight was pretty comfortable for Order, but you can forgive him. It was under such a pressure-filled scenario that you don't want to lose this round of Nepal just by not throwing out the Transcendence, so he's gone for it. But that does leave Order in a bit more of a difficult spot now with the grab coming through from Huss very shortly. Sign is going to have to charge this one up. Order have to engage this fight on their own terms or they're done.
Haas throws out the grab. It captures them up on the high ground as well. Self-destruct. Haas somehow manages to find Yuki with the grab as well. They're on to the point. Order needs to contest. Great Earth Shatter coming out from Chrono Dota. You'll see them all go down.
Oh, this might be
that one of his own. He's hit 5. Oh my goodness.
You saw them all on the floor. You saw the self-destruct flying across. And Order, they almost had that exact same thing done to them last time in Season 2 against Darksided, and they finally got one back. Everything was lost. The only thing that could turn it around there was a big combo, a big self-destruct, a big shatter, and they got both, and Order survived. Sydney Drop Bears, they would have felt like they had that. How on earth has that happened?
If I get a vote, that is most certainly my Macca's play of the game. Shoyo captures the grab coming out from Sign. That is absolutely huge. Is this enough for the Drop Bears to turn it around? They have no more ultimates to work with, but Bertlog is so very close. It's 1-for-1. How's it going to play out? The beat goes down first. Jordation counters with the Transcendence, keeps Quads up. Quads once again has the first shatter, throws it through. Only hits Huss. Shoyo with the self-destruct. Adam has one of his own. They've lost Huss. They lost Shoyo. Yuki uses his ultimate as well. All of a sudden, Order back on the point. They capture it through into overtime. It doesn't matter. Order 1-0 up here on Nepal.
Well, it's not over yet. Very, very close on the first round of Nepal. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but Order are now one round away. They're not even one map away, just one round away.
They can taste it, Jordan.
Over. But that so very nearly could have gone the way of Sydney Drop Bears, and maybe it should have gone the way of Sydney Drop Bears as well. It was such a great combo from Quads and Adam.
Wow.
Kept Order alive.
You see a few of these during the season, but it's very it's unlikely to be that huge. You'll see one or two or three.
Well, it's
that
all
was like the rest of the team.
It's all about the context as well, Ben. At the pressure-filled moments,
Yes.
when the map is make or break, when the series is make or break, and when we're playing for everything on the line, Shanghai on the line, Order are coming up with the goods. That's what makes it so amazing to watch. Here we go, though. On to round 2. Order immediately start off with a bit of an advantage again, doing that damage to Sydney Drop Bears, forcing them back.
Order can feel it. They know it is 1 round away. If they win here, they win the whole thing. 6 on the point. They're looking to capture it. They will. They'll get it for free. The Drop Bears looking now to recontest. They have to pick a fight, and they have to win it.
Slowly but surely, Sydney Drop Bears making their way on the point, but Chrono Dota, he's in a pinball machine. He just gets bounced around and Order knock him over. That's going to be the fight done. Order with the point already cleaning up Sydney Drop Bears.
Great first fight when you can see the percentage points on the right-hand side of the screen already getting nice and high. They're going to have their ultimates first. They're going to be able to rotate those through and put themselves in that prime position. It does not get any better here for Order.
No, definitely does not. This is their chance. This is their moment. Maybe it's finally Order's time. Maybe it will finally be their season. Sydney Drop Bears still, they're not dead yet. So, one more contest.
Earthshatter comes through. Not going to find anyone this time around. Probably could have saved that for later, but it was worth a try. Jordation has Transcendence. You'll see Burntlock and a Kraken both with support ultimates as well. We'll have to see when they choose to use it, who comes out first. Husk goes down. The Transcendence is used by a Kraken, but again, just a little bit too late. Jordation uses his, secures themselves essentially this fight win as Shoyo is demanked as well. Fortunately for the Drop Bears, he will go down quite quickly. Now we look at the ultimate charge. It's going to be essentially 5 versus what will be 3.
Oh, they're doing it!
So aggressive, Jordan. Look at this. They won't let them do anything right into the spawn ship.
Order knows that now is their time to strike, and indeed they do. 83%. Sydney Drop Bears, they have one last chance to get onto that point, to get a fight win, to get a map win, and keep this series alive. But Order are doing everything right at the moment, and it certainly seems like we finally will see the end of the dynasty.
Aggressive self-destruct from Adam won't find the pick. You'll see Yuki go down. Chrono Dota with that one. Quads so very low as well. Order looking like they're going to go down in this fight. We're into overtime. 99% for Order, but the Drop Bears finally managed to turn it back in their favor.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot there for Order to work with, and it is not too surprising to see Sydney Drop Bears pick up the point capture, but we have seen this time and time and time again on Oasis. Order starting off with 99. Sydney Drop Bears come back into it, but they just can't hang on. Order, this is still within their grasp. Take some time to build the ultimates up. Signed almost has another grab. Transcendence is there for Order. Sydney Drop Bears have got absolutely nothing.
They don't indeed. This is looking good for Order right now. A lot of work to be done by the Sydney Drop Bears. This could be over in one last fight. Great Shadow finds 3. A Kraken is down. CK
Here it
down.
is.
Shoyo is down. Graviton Surge comes out. 2 remaining. 1
That's it.
remaining. It's just Shoyo, but it does not matter. 99% turns into 100% here for Order. Ladies and gentlemen, your Overwatch Contenders Australia Season 1 champions. It is Order.
It's been a long time coming for this roster for the majority of the players. They have been on stages like this before. Yuki on your screen, every single season finals, he's made it to the grand finals. Every single time he came second up until this moment, and finally he tastes that victory. For Hunter, for Adam, from this Order roster from the start. They've been at the season finals, but they've never been able to get that win. Jordation and Quads coming from the Sydney Drop Bears roster. Now finally, once again, the title is theirs. It's been a long time coming, Ben, but finally now is the moment of Order.
It is indeed. They've waited so very long for this. Season 3, 2018, they thought they had it. They got to land, but it was not to be. The Sydney Drop Bears, you can see there, to be fair, looking as good as you can. you can only win so many times in a row, and eventually we do have a true contender here with Order coming through with the goods on the day. They've done the work. They become our champions, and of course our representatives at the showdown. Ladies and gentlemen, your Overwatch Contenders Australia champions for Season 1 in 2019 here from the Kudos Bank Arena, and your representatives at the Pacific Showdown. Give it up for Order!
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Order once again.
Yuki, it feels like it's been a long time. How relieved